Good morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, temporarily substituting for Rabbi Reuven Levitt, who's taking care of some very important business for the Yeshiva. And we are here several days before Purim, just fielding some questions in general about Purim and its various laws and customs. Yeah.
Okay, so in America, we always had the custom that women and men both wore costumes. In fact, the school that I went to used to have a costume contest, and there was a prize for the women's category, and there was a prize for the men's category. There's several prizes in each. Most unique, most beautiful, whatever. I forget what the categories were. Now, here in Eretz Yisrael, I go to two shuls mainly. One is, I think, more of the modern Orthodox style.
Okay.
Like, for example, the mechitza is in the middle, and a lot of women come on Shabbos. The other is more of the Haredi, where there's like a separate room for women and a tiny little window that's blocked up so the women can't see, can't hear. And there aren't very many women that even come. Okay, so what we're hearing from the more modern shul is everybody should wear a costume, just like we did in America. What we're hearing from the Haredi shul is women shouldn't wear costumes, certainly should not wear costumes outside. And if they want to wear a costume inside the house, then that's allowable. So, what is the true halacha?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure I'm going to be authoritative enough to say the true halacha. I might just be able to explain some of the points that you are observing and what's going on. There is a long-standing custom to wear costumes on Purim. This is true. What some of the Svarim do say, with authority, they say that the time for wearing the costume is during the Suda, right, which indicates that would be in the home and within the context of the family setting. Right?
Unless, of course, you go out.
Oh, so
somebody else's home.
Right, if you're going out to somebody else's home, right. So that seems to be the pre-existing custom, that it was something which was done because even for a man, there are some authorities that speak about it. Some don't speak about it, but that doesn't mean that they weren't, if they did speak about it, they wouldn't be in agreement. But there are, when a person's davening, let's say, he should really be dressed respectably.
Respectfully?
Respectfully, right. Just as if he would be having an audience with the king, a king, he would dress respectably. So for Mincha and Ma'ariv, he should also be dressed respectably. Many are observant and aware of this. So that would sort of preclude, wearing costumes even for men to the shul, right? Some a little bit more relaxed and lenient about it, but it's a question as whether or not we should really be davening under such circumstances. I mean, that's the general theme of Purim. I mean, we have a obligation to be happy, to have festivities, even to drink. But the laws of the Torah and the Rabbanim and the customs that are in effect day to day don't change. I mean, Purim is not an excuse to cross any boundaries. I mean, one thing which is specifically mentioned by the Mishnah Berurah is about costumes containing shatnez, right? This is the rice already, right? So a person doesn't have a permissibility of wearing a costume of containing shatnez. Right? So I'll show you what he said. If you look at it inside. we did this here. It's around the Aleph at the bottom there. We'll just go upstairs for a moment. Maybe you might be there when we discuss this. Yeah, it's worth a while seeing. Reish Sadi Vav, so you have the Mishnah Guru explaining the Ramah, and there was a issue here that here. Let's learn as follows. Yeah, let's just Ches, Taf Reish Sadi Vav.
Mutar Lisa, Isha, Purim. What is Lisa?
To marry. So if you want to schedule a wedding on Purim, you have interest to do that.
Okay. Bain the Yud Daled, Bain the Tetvav, whether it's on the 14th or the 15th. The whole shekain, therefore.
Of course, it means even more so.
Oh, even more so. Shemutar, that it's permissible la'asot to do pidyon habed, redemption of the firstborn. She nehargu lilbosh Partsufim Purim. Shenahargu. I don't know what that is. Harag.
So shenahagu.
Shenahagu. What is that?
So okay. So it says okay. Ma shenahagu, that which is the custom. Lilbos partsufim Purim, to wear costumes on Purim.
Partsufim.
Partsuf is like a mask.
Correct.
Partsuf is like a mask. That would include other things as well, other types of costumes.
Okay, so just as it is customary to wear costumes on Purim, the gever lovesh, and a man wears simlas, clothing, isha, of a woman, the isha kli gever, and the woman wears the clothing of a man. So it's interesting that they use different words, simlas and kli.
Interesting. Well, because simlas is basically a garment, and kli gever, that could include also like guns, swords, these type of shields. The kli gever is the weapons.
Okay, got it. So does that imply that she cannot wear man's clothing?
Oh, it says here that the custom is that they wear masks on Purim, and a man will wear similar to a woman's clothes, a woman's dress, right? And he will wear kli gever, maybe weapons or something which is specific to a man. He says, "Ain't isser b'davar." There's no isser to do it. There's nothing forbidden about it. Why?
Okay. Me'achar, that after she'ein.
Well, actually, since.
Since that there is not michavunim intention, ella, except there's only the intention, the simcha, for happiness,
Right.
Be'alma. There's really only the intention for happiness.
Right.
There's no intention to violate the Torah.
Right. With the Torah, Rashi explains the Torah when it said that you can't wear a woman's clothes, because a man who is interested in wearing women's clothes is because he wants to sneak in amongst women. I mean that's what Rashi explains in Chumash, and then vice versa. So we don't want that to happen. So we say you can't do that. But here you're not interested in doing. You're interested in just having a good, a festive time.
V'chein, therefore, bil vishas kalayim, with the clothing and the accessories.
Well, no, here Kalayim means the mixed fabrics. You have shatnez of wool and and pishtan and flax.
With clothing of shatnez, with shatnez.
Of midurabanim, meaning there's the shatnez deraisa and the shatnez derabanim. So it says, he's saying that if it's, since it's derabanim and it's besimcha, right? It's besimcha ba'alma, right? So therefore, it's also ain't isser. It ain't isser to do it, right? Right. However, read the next three words.
Yesh omrim ba'asur de'asur, but there are those who say that it is asur, even rabbinic.
Right. And it could be even the sinless isha, even kli gever, also kli.
Curious, what is the rabbinic versus the?
No, there's certain. It could be the way it's being worn, right? It could be the way it's being worn, and it could be the way it's being where it's interwoven in the actual garment itself. Right. I'd have to refresh my memory about the difference between the rices and the rabbanim.
Okay.
I have to really refresh my memory.
Okay.
But could be perhaps the way it's being worn, and also the way it's interwoven into the actual fabric.
Okay. Aval haminhag kisvara harishona. But the custom does something at first.
Is the first opinion. Svor, meaning that's the opinion. Svor is like the thought.
Oh, it's like the first opinion.
First opinion.
The halakha is like the first opinion,
Right.
which said it's permitted.
Right. So let's review. Okay. It says here, Masha noim limos p'tzufim b'Purim. That which is the custom that people wear masks on Purim. A man will wear a dress of a woman. And a woman will wear objects which are specific to a man. Ain't Isser b'davar. There's nothing forbidden about this. Why? From that sense, she'ein mechavdin el simcha b'yam. The only thing that they're doing is having an intention to increase the festivities of the day of Purim. And also the same applies to the wearing of clothes which have kalayim of a rabbinic nature. And there are those that say, those that say that it's forbidden. Now, whether that applies to all the things we've mentioned or just the last thing is not clear, right? Well, nevertheless, custom kiswar rishona. You see that the custom is like the first opinion to go ahead and do it. Okay. Now, let's see at this point the Mishnah Berurah in Sifkat Lamed. What's in the first column, about 7 lines down.
Harishona.
Yeah.
At first. Ayin biyore dea. We see in Yeridea, Siman Kuf Pei Vav, that Kid Shikasav, that it is written Sham there on this page.
This is the Taz. That's called the Torah.
Hataz.
Taz, right? And B'Shem Bach. The Taz quotes the Bach was the father-in-law of the Taz, right?
Okay.
So the Taz was the son-in-law of the Bach. So the Taz quotes the Bach. What?
Sheyesh levatel minhag that we should nullify the minhag. This minhag. This minhag, we're referring to Harishonah. So referring to the custom to wear men's and women's clothing.
Apparently, we'll see. We'll take a look.
Hain Purim. These on Purim. B'simchas nisuyin. Or in the happiness of a wedding?
Yeah, I mean a wedding. Yeah, Simchas Nisuin, the feast of a wedding feast.
So we shouldn't wear costumes, or we shouldn't wear forbidden clothing on Purim or at a wedding.
Right. I mean, men wearing women's clothes and women wearing men's things. That's what you should do. You want to wear you want to dress up as a pirate.
Right.
But a woman getting dressed as a pirate, with a sword, and knife, gun,
Right.
that's
Hands.
fancy.
The chain, and so, chasav, it is written, be'er ha-gola. Is that a name of a book?
It's a commentary on Shulchan Aruch. It shows up in all. That's the Be'er. Basically, a commentary which basically lists the source of the halacha, where it is in the generally in the Gemara or in the Rishonim.
Sham, there. So there's a footnote over there, which says that we should not do this custom.
Right. He's basically concurring with you have the Bach and the Taz cited the Bach, and then the Be'er is also concurring with that opinion.
V'im kol ha-malvushim, and if all the clothing shall ish of a man, rak, only milvush, he wears echad, one shall isha, one item of a woman, v'nikarim hein. Nikarim, and this is significant?
That it's obvious. Meaning so
Obvious.
Right. Im kol avushim shel ish. Let's say a man, he's wearing everything. Rak malbush echad shel isha. Nikarim hein. Meaning, let's say a man's going to wear his regular clothes. He's going to put on a shekel. So he knows a man wearing a shekel.
Right.
So that's a little bit different.
But it's recognizable.
Yeah. So therefore,
It's obvious.
It's
obvious that he's a man.
Well, it's obvious that he's wearing men's clothes. Meaning, it won't help if he's wearing his regular suit and jacket and tie if he puts a woman's dress over him and it's completely covered up.
Right.
But if he wears his regular clothes, his regular garb, and puts on like just something that's specialized to a woman, right?
Like a shadel.
Yeah, like a shadel. So it's nicker that he's a man wearing a shadel.
Okay, it's obvious.
Got it.
Okay, got it. Afshar, it's possible, she'ein, that there's not limchos bahen. What's limchos?
To protest. I mean, it's possible that you don't need to protest against it.
Va'ayin, and we see b'chneses hagdolah, that the Great Assembly, what is this abbreviation?
That's a sefer. That literally means but it's the name of a sefer, and the abbreviation is where it is in Shulchan Aruch. That's Siman Tafresh Sadihei, which is exactly where it's close to where we are, right? So this sefer, Knesset Gedolah, who writes the commentary on the Shulchan Aruch, he also he's telling you to eye there. Take a look at what the Knesset Gedolah wrote over there.
Okay. Shehi's Hiru.
Oh, so excuse me. You was asking Ubishla. This is the Shnei Lukas Abris. This is the Shla. That's what the abbreviation we were asking for. Ubishla. That's also a commentary, a general commentary. He is advising his Hiru.
That he advises the harchik mizeh. The harchik, harak, I don't know that word.
From Rechok, from Rechok. Right? So he's cautioning, he's warning to stay away from this. He warns to stay away from this. You should stay away from it.
Stay away from even wearing the one item.
Yeah. Apparent, right. Apparent.
Now they mentioned the item that's obvious. I would think there'd be even more so if it's not obvious. Even more so if he covers his whole body with a dress.
Yeah.
Then we would say don't do it.
Right. So, but again, so all we're discussing here, right?
It's forbidden things.
Forbidden things, right? But if you want to be dressed up as a pirate, right? And
you're a man.
someone's wife wants to dress her as a Cinderella, right?
Queen Esther.
Queen Esther, whatever, right? Apparently, there's no difficulty in that, right? Now you see the Mishnah doesn't mention anything about going to shul and dressed this way, walking around outside and dressed this way. That's not the discussion in the Mishnah. You don't see that that explained over here. So there may be others that do caution about it, right? But
in other words, there's no mention here at all about, if there's nothing usher in the costume, there's no mention at all about it being usher to do it, or even inadvisable to do it.
Right. I can go upstairs, give me a minute, I'll take a look, I'll bring the safer down, maybe we'll take a look, see a little bit, do a little more investigation.
Yeah, because this is important to my wife.
Yeah.
She always wore a costume, and all of a sudden she's being told that's not a good idea, or it's not proper, and it's confusing to her.
I understand. Oh. Okay, I'll let me review just a few things here.
Okay.
With a picture. What about wearing something which is specifically non-Jewish, like a pirate, or you want to dress up like Achashverosh,
Right.
Ho Chi Minh, Khrushchev.
Right.
You take your shoe off and start banging on the table, you know, right?
Right.
Remember that lesson in your end?
Oh, sure. Sure. We will bury you.
You got buried. That's it. See? Buried themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was saying. He was saying economically we will bury you, and economically they will bury you.
Yes, but remember the wheat had to fly wheat over to them. The Americans had to fly wheat over to them.
Right.
They couldn't feed themselves.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
So what about wearing clothes of such people? What do you see? Once you get just like Trump.
Right. That's very common.
Yeah.
Whoever the president is.
Yeah. It's a custom, right? Das Rav Chaim Kamenetsky is one of our Gedolei Yadur here in Bnei Brak. Sha'af al pi, the ikar din mutter, even though according to the straight law of the Lord, it's mutter. Mikom makom ein roy lo asoske. It's not proper to do it. Okay, not proper to do it. I mean, if you have another choice or something, pick something else. Groucho Marx. He's a Jew.
Yeah.
Well, Roy Orchis Rabbeinu Sham, that's the Chazanish. Okay, Levitt was Tachshmosha Shel over the Zorah. Let's say you want to wear something which is clearly something having to do with the Water Zorah. He wants to dress up as a Buddha. Kigon Tachbosha Shel Koimer, he wants to dress up as a one of the priests.
Right.
Yeah. Das Rav Shlomo Rabbi Elashiv that Kevan Shezeh Shayach L'Vodah Zorah, since it has a association with idol worship, Yesh B'zeh Isra, Mishum Lo Sim Him Achirim Lo Yisma El Picha. that's usher. Wants to dress up like these type of things. That's usher.
What is it, usher? Didn't we start
Yeah.
out by saying it's...
No, you have two. First was Tsama non-Jew. Of course, there's not like President Trump, Ho Chi Minh,
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
right? Napoleon.
But didn't we initially have a statement that said it's permitted to dress up in costume?
Yeah. Right.
Period.
But costume's permitted.
And now we're discussing...
What kind of
what's
costume? What kind
better,
of?
oh no, so it's...
Yeah.
But it's not what's better or worse, but it's actually what's us or...
Well, it depends. If it's you just want to get it dressed like Napoleon, Ho Chi Minh, President Trump.
It's not advisable, but it's permitted.
Yeah,
But
that's
if
what's
it's,
permitted.
but if it's Buddha,
Yeah.
it's dafka prohibited. It's
That
lesser.
was according to Yerushalyim, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. If he was with one of the Posky had door, it wasn't one of the Posky door. There may be some others that didn't ask it. But you have this one opinion. One opinion says that it's better. Also, if you have a choice, you should shy away from it.
Right.
Shy away from it. Tichbosha shel late son, hanekrokim mishtamsu b'damei oloshem. So let's say that there's certain costumes that they wear. Like I'm trying to imagine, maybe I don't know. They may have certain maybe a good example like the Chinese New Year. They have certain dragons that they
Right.
So you're gonna order from China. I'm guessing you can probably
Dragon
use a dragon costume. Now, since it's used for a specific holiday, which probably is associated with their idol worship, right? So that raises the question. Das, or Yaakov Kamenetsky, she'ein b'zeh iser, mishum hukus hagoyim. There's no issue because of hukus hagoyim. You're doing something which is taken on as a tradition, a non-Jewish tradition. Okay? Kevin she'nachrim lomed mezeh me-Yehudim says, how did they get all these things? They learned from us.
Right.
They learned to do these things from us.
Right. And that always bothers me.
In what way?
Because we say you can't do something because the Goyim do it, but they got it from us.
Yeah. Oh,
So
it
they're just
depends.
copying us, and then we're saying, now we can't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
Every case has to be taken individually. You have to know the specifics of each case.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like for example, Christmas lights.
Right.
So where did it come from? It came from Hanukkah.
Sure.
Same time of year.
Right.
Right? We have lights on our houses, so they said we'll have lights on here. So
Yeah.
but now you can't have Christmas lights. A Jew can't have Christmas lights
Right. Because
on Hanukkah
Yeah.
because we think, he's
Right.
it looks like the Goyim,
Right.
but they got it from us.
Sure. Okay, so again, each case has to be taken into consideration.
Right.
They do say that you can put them in a sukkah, though. These flashing little tinsel lights in the sukkah.
Right. Oh, that's actually right. That's right.
They permit that.
Yeah, my son likes to do that.
Yeah. Now, there's a question whether they're being sold at a store for that holiday and you buy it from them, or you just order from China, in which they're making millions for whoever wants to have some kind of
Right.
decorative light going on. So, okay, those are specifics.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So then he says, now, now, the Indian im mutter, here we are, this is what we mentioned earlier. The Indian im mutter limi shelavish tachposus lispala, right? Person is wearing a costume, can he daven, right? Kigo litoi v'valgus chasidi v'hefer. Let's say a guy like me. I wear a regular American suit and jacket. I'm going to put on a long coat. I'm going to get myself a shtreimel, right? I'm going to dress myself up as a chassid, right? Okay? Or the opposite, right? So chassid b'shayis and shuvah shevet alevi, that's her voice there. Shemuter, right? Im mechusik halacha. That's permissible if you're all covered up properly. You're not wearing a tank top. He's looking, he wants to be, a boxer.
Right.
So he's wearing a tank top and boxing gloves.
Right.
Ve'ein also shum schok, but you can't be frivolous when you're davening. I mean, just because you're wearing a costume doesn't make doesn't make it any less forbidden to be frivolous during the davening.
Right.
Yeah? Okay. B'shlomi Torah Purim ayin tes I le'ili shebos partzufis. So the question is, let's say you're actually wearing a costume. He's going to be a glazer. He's a clown. He's got this orange hair on his head,
Right.
nose, big fat shoes.
But
you
he's
know,
all
polka-
sneers.
He's all sneers. So that they say they speak about that in this sefer here.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we'll have to take a look. Yeah. So that's
That would actually apply to me.
yeah. So
The
that's
costume I wear is snooze.
Mhm.
You know, like I have a Japanese hat and a Japanese. I forget what my wife word range, but I'm like a soldier or a. But I'm perfectly snooze.
Okay, let's see what it says here. It says here, Tez, Tov, Tez, Zayin. Tez, Zayin.
This is very helpful.
Okay.
I feel privileged. I get my one-on-one tutoring.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you see? That's what they need. Ah. Okay, yeah, I see what it means. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, you want to read it? Sure. Here, just, he's starting here, I see he's bringing something, he's starting off with another question, but then he's going to lead into our question, if I'm not mistaken. Indian.
The tzeis the Shabbat, and concerning the subject of obligations of
Well, let's say, so you're here to go out, you want to walk in the Rosh Hashanah, you want to
Oh, just
wear,
going out.
you want to wear a costume, I think he's talking about you want to wear a costume around in the Rosh Hashanah. So
On
like,
Shabbat.
so this, he's a clown, he's got this, red
Right.
rubber nose.
Right,
And
right.
let's say there's no ear and everything like that, he's in, someplace there's no permissibility of walking around with things outside at all. He's carrying this red nose, this ball on his nose, this red nose.
Right.
Right.
So
So
this
he's
is a
got,
question of the
he's got
issue
he's got his regular shoes on, and he's got these big clown feet on.
on top of it.
On top of him, so you wear those outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Rishus Haravim. Oh, the Makom She'ein Bo Eruv.
Eruv. There's no Rishus Harabim. There's no Eruv. You don't have any permissible way of carrying out in the public thoroughfare.
With costumes.
It literally could be masked. Like, let's say he's just wearing a mask. He's wearing a regular thing, but he's wearing a mask. He looks like a gorilla mask.
Right. Shenehagu haketanim.
That's the children, right? Children.
What's nehagu?
That the children are accustomed to. The children are accustomed.
Oh, it's the custom of children.
Yes.
Levosh, to wear the Purim. So he's wearing a costume. Yesh l'asur, it is forbidden. Afilu, even kishehem, when they al ha-ni panehem, even when it's on their faces.
They're wearing it properly. They're wearing it properly.
Right.
On their face. It's not like somebody can pull it up, put it over your head, and that would certainly be much more serious. He's actually wearing it.
He's actually wearing it properly on his face.
He's saying it's forbidden.
It's still forbidden. What is this abbreviation?
The HaShulchan Aruch. at the Shulchan Aruch.
Shulchan Aruch.
Siman
Shin Aleph.
Sif
Sif
Chaf.
Chaf.
Kasif, he
That's
writes.
how it is written. De'ain yotzim, that you should not go out b'Shabbat on Shabbos. B'parmei. Is that costume?
I think yes.
In a pin costume.
Right.
V'heim kamin, and this is like a type.
Good.
Turas of an image, part tooth of a costume.
Yeah, it's like it's some type of a mask. He says this parmim that the Shulchan Aruch is referring to is a type of a mask.
Okay. Shenotnim, that you put al hapanim on your face, lehafchid, to hide,
No, to frighten.
to frighten, to hafchid, to frighten hatinochot, the babies.
Right, when you walk around, a person walks around with it, pull it, goes this bunch of kids coming, pull it,
Right. Yeah. Okay. What is it, tinochim? That's, I would think it's a yeladim. Tinochim is like little babies, right?
Well, yeah, because I think it could be up to the age of 3 or 4 toddlers, could be.
Toddlers.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually every time a child's 4 or 5, he's wise to this already. So.
Okay, so it has to be younger than. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. V'hata'am, and the taste,
The reason.
and the reason, mishum, because she'ein zeh derech melavush.
Malbush.
Malvush.
Right. Why is it
This
also?
is not the regular way of dressing.
Right. Exactly.
V'asar, and it's forbidden, mishum, because tilt tool.
You carry.
Levity?
Carry.
Oh, carrying.
To carry. You carry.
Oh, because it's not the regular way of dressing, therefore you're considered to be carried.
Well, you're considered to be carrying this mask.
So how about when you see people walking to shul in their taluses?
Well, how are they wearing it? They're wearing the talis regularly.
They're wearing talus regularly.
Oh, so that's
not-
considered like a malbush. That's
Really?
yeah.
Because I mean, the only time you ever see somebody doing that is on Shabbos. You don't see them. You don't see anybody ever. I mean, I don't see anybody ever wearing a talus on the street regularly.
Because many people maybe just bring it to carry it to the one shul. Go on Shabbos when you can't carry it to shul, so you wear it. But in shul, everyone's wearing it.
Because in shul you wear it that way. I see. Okay, that makes sense. V'im came, and if so, I don't know what this is.
Hachinami also.
Here also, yesh, there is lasur, a prohibition, litzes, to go out, b'masakut, with masks, elu, with these masks, b'shabbat, on Shabbat, b'makom, in a place, she'asur, that is forbidden, the tail, that's the same word we just had.
Right.
To carry, bo, in it. Now there's a whole bunch of abbreviations.
Okay. Ayin b'shulchan aruch, simin sadi aleph, sif hey.
Okay, so this is just a reference to
That's the
Shulchan
shulchan
Aruch.
aruch. And actually, that's fine. We'll take a look at
Demalvush, that wearing.
Yeah. Or the malbush, like a garment.
The garment, she'ein derech la'amod, it's not the customary, or it's not the way to stand, bo, in it. Lifnei, in front of anashim, people. Chashuvim. Oh, a garment that you wouldn't stand in front of somebody important, like the president or the king or something.
Right.
Lo yispalel bo, you should not pray in it.
So that's a halacha in Shulchan Aruch. You can see that if you want. But let's finish what it says.
Okay. Ulapaz, and the paz.
Ulefi zeh, and according to this.
Oh, ulafizeh.
It's very common. It's a very common abbreviation. Ulefi zeh, according to this.
According to this. Bipart sufim, with costumes. Hallelujah, those costumes. Gimel Kaf,
Gamkein,
Gamkein, likewise, Yesh Lomar, there is to say, Delo Yispalel Behem, that you should not pray in costumes. De'ein Zeh, that this is not Derech Kavod, the way of honor.
it's not respectful.
La'amod, to stand, Cain, like this, Lifnei Adam Chashuv, to stand, to be in front of an important person in a costume. You wouldn't go in front of the President of the United States with your clown costume.
Right.
And the rest of this is in brackets.
Yeah, let's see. Ikar Mashanohu, and that and in principle, what they are accustomed, Libos Partsufim, Elivapon, that people wear these costumes on Purim. I mean, the people that they wearing them, Ayin La'el, Lamed Aleph, Simin Lamed Aleph, Post Gimel Masha Kasati Hazeh. So he goes into more detail previously and discussed the whole concept and issue of wearing costumes.
So the bottom line is that you shouldn't wear a costume when you pray, because it's not covered. And he doesn't really distinguish between different kinds of costumes.
No, that's probably in what you mentioned previously. We might go into that in more details about that now.
Because you gave the example of just as a chassid.
Right, they mentioned that, right? Exactly.
Right.
So that would pass, because that would be, even though you don't wear it that way.
Right.
But, you know, there are those that do it.
Somebody does. But if you're dressed as a non-Jew, is that assumed to be not covered?
So that's a good question. Let's say you're going to dress like Napoleon. Now that is you know, a very that could be a very honorable you know, dress like President Trump.
Right. That could be a covered way to dress.
Right. The question you have to judge for yourself. Would you want to appear that way? Again, would you want to appear that way if in the presence of someone who's important? Again.
But this is all discussing davening. It's not discussing walking on the street.
Right. Right. Also, so yeah, right. That has.
Presumption is walking on the street is permissible as long as it's properly sneus, and it's not begadish or shatnez or anything like that.
Yeah. So
if my wife dresses as Queen Esther, for example, then there should be no problem.
Yeah, look, in theory, no, we haven't seen anyone that really, well, I have to see where that was, and I remember, he was explaining primarily the costumes are primarily made for the time of the Suda, the Mishnah.
Right.
That which would preclude the going outside with them, but he didn't ever said it was forbidden to go outside with them, as long as it's sneeze. Now there's another thing that a woman should be careful not to dress in ways that cause attraction to herself.
Right, of course.
So, you know, that could be, that's every day of the year, right?
Right. And I know a lot of women make it an excuse to dress seductively.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Particularly non-religious, you know, on Halloween, deal. You know, you see a lot of women dressing in ways that they wouldn't normally dress, and it's like a heter, deal. So I understand that.
Yeah,
and understand that might be a motivation for certain rabbis to be, you know, want to push it away because of that tendency. But it would seem to me that what we're saying is if you're not doing that, then you don't need to push it away.
Yeah. See, it could be, like in general, that the concept of wearing the costumes is really primarily for the children. Mishnah Berurah previously said that a person should wear b'nei Shabbos, b'nei Yom Tov. But
What sefer is this?
this is a sefer. Sefer devoted to Purim, based on Shulchan Aruch. It goes into depth in certain.
So it's a commentary on the Shulchan.
Not exactly. It's more like I would say more of it's a compendium of topics based upon the subjects mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch.
Okay.
Rather than a specific commentary on the Shulchan Aruch. So so look, if something is there doesn't seem to be any absolute prohibition about wearing costumes outside, provided that they're modest and in taste, right? And if there's going to be something in shul, like after the davening or something like that, during the davening, so you see that it's advisable not to. You have a halacha in Shulchan Aruch about it. You have to be dressed respectfully to daven.
Right.
Just like you can't daven in your pajamas. Night clothes was supposed to not show you sick.
Right.
When you're sick, it's a dispensation.
Yeah, and quite often I dress like this.
Yeah.
And I daven like this. And my understanding is that there's a machlokas as to whether it means street clothes or it means you have to be, dressed like you are.
So basically, that's the. How would you feel? Again, that's inside. This is the halacha. This is tefillah. This is Shulchan Aruch. Sasin Sadi Aleph. Sif Hey. Nur Amor.
Amud should not stand. The apodaso below the rosh. With the head.
Megula, without a head covering.
Below the rosh megula, without the head covered. So what was this word here?
That is, that's like wearing like slippers, or just wearing just like Socks.
Okay. So you should not stand in your slippers or your socks, and not with your head bare. Velo birigalim, with regular?
Those and your feet are going.
Oh, not with your feet. Megulim, uncovered.
Exposed, right? Exposed.
Im derech anshe hamakom, if it's the way of the people of the place, shalot yamdu, that they don't stand lifnei hagidolim, before important people, ella, but rather only bibate regalim, houses of faith.
That's like the button, like house shoes, like slippers.
Okay, so this was if it's the way of people in the place, that they don't stand before great people, only in slippers.
And if they do, that's okay, but if they don't, then you can't.
And so it's the custom in the place that they would. In other words, you should dress in the way that's customary just to dress before important people.
Yeah.
Really, unless it's an emergency.
So I had a conversation with a person once where he said, if if the president came to a workplace,
Right.
which quite often when they're campaigning they do,
Sure.
and give a speech.
Right.
So the workers are in their work clothes.
Sure.
They don't wear suit. You don't see it. If they come to like the auto workers place,
Right.
you don't see them coming in with suits that day. You see them coming in their regular work clothes.
Sure.
So that was his basis for saying that it's permissible to be in work clothes.
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend who wears work clothes, but in general he usually puts on something nice at the dollar. And he has a special, special jacket that he wears at the dollar or something.
Right.
If he can, he changes out of his. If he can't, he doesn't. But if he can, he tries to switch out.
Now it says head covering there,
Yeah.
and I would interpret that as kippah, but I think some people interpret that as a hat.
Well, there are those that mention that. Because you have to have kovid barosha. Now, whether that means a hat or a kippah, that's it says "Ubezmeinu tzura b'sim ba'es tefila kovid barosha." Specifically, we're talking about a hat. Ubezmeinu in our time, tzura b'sim ba'es tefila. You have to put on your head, right at the time of prayer, kovid barosha, a hat on your head. Keder sholot barocha. That's the way that people go out in the streets. Lo b'kovid cut and takas kovid. That's just not the little one. I mean, that like the keeper. So these things change. So once I was told that when President Kennedy, JFK, didn't wear a top hat to his inauguration, he was making a statement. He says that's the old times. We're in a new era now. So it used to be people would wear hats outside. That was the custom. Now it's not that way so much.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
Sure, yeah.
In America, everybody has that.
Of course, yeah. So things are different. But still, it is in the yeshivas, the B'nai Torah, the curriculum is
Right. Okay, thank you very much.
Bez Hashem.